Hello and welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, today I'm talking with Leon Richardson. Leon joined the Royal Artillery in 1997 and served mainly with 3rd Regiment Royal Horse Artillery. Today he tells us what it was like growing up and serving with 3rd, and then his time when he moved over to 2-9 and completed the All Arms Commando's course. Leon then tells us what it was like after he left the military and ended up running a successful business and a stint as a male model. Right, firstly I've got to apologise. The start of this podcast, the audio is terrible. Give it a few minutes, it does get better. We didn't realise it was that bad when we were recording it, and we had to stop and start again. Well, not start again, but you'll see. Just bear with it, it's not that bad. If you like this podcast, or the previous ones, please consider buying me a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/Frankie'sPod. It just goes to help fund the software and the hosting. Hi, welcome back to the podcast. In this episode, I'm going to be talking to Leon Richardson. Leon served with 3RHA, Germany. Hi, Leon, how are you doing?
How you doing, Frankie? It's only been 23 years, mate.
Yeah, no, but doesn't it weird? It doesn't seem it, does it?
No, mate, honestly, it just feels like yesterday, doesn't it? Yeah, it's great.
Right, so I want to ask you the same questions that I ask everyone, which is where you grew up, why did you join the army, what did you do, what did you get up to, and why you left and what that was like. So if you just want to start off with, give us a short story, or whatever as long as you want, really, of where you grew up and why you joined the army.
Well, I was born in Sheffield. I was born my mum was in a woman's home at the time. I didn't realise this till many years later. And then we moved to a place called Blackburn, which is in Rotherham. Let's just say it's your standard council estate, a lot of drugs, violence, just usual. And I think that's why I just didn't feel like I fitted in. So I've always wanted to join the army from about age of 10, to be fair. Obviously watching like Soldier, Rambo, and then I ended up going into the army cadets. So I think Sylvester Stallone's got a lot to answer for, really. Do you know? I think 99% of squaddies join because of it.
It's weird I would say that about like from the council estate and stuff like that. There's a lot of people I spoke to, but we've all had a similar background.
Yeah,
I was quite lucky. I joined basically because both my brothers were in. But that's the type of people you want in the army. They're not, they've got a bit of, I wouldn't say life skills, but they know the shit's happening. There's stuff out in the world that's not good, and it's the rougher, tougher type of people that you actually want in. So I think that's why one of the struggles we're having now recruiting. That less and less of them people are around. You know what I mean? I'm not saying everyone's woke, but
I think it's that, and also people, they don't go outside. I mean, we were out shooting, rabbit hunting, and things like that. As a kid, so doing the things in the forces, it just come quite natural, really. And obviously, with the army cadets, that was the best thing I could have ever done, really, because you learn exactly the same skills and drills as the regular army. Obviously, just different weapons, but like first aid, fieldcraft. So I already had a good insight to join in, and I thought it was brilliant, really.
Did that help you in basic training then?
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, when I first joined, because I were a fat kid, me, to be fair, Frankie. I was like 14 stone, 36 waist, about 15, and I couldn't run for the bus. Because I used to have an inhaler, and what it was, I think my mum and dad obviously were a bit old school, so it were like, there were no such thing as nutrition back then. It was, I think they fed me for love, so it was crisp sweets on an evening. So before I knew it, I gained all this weight. So I didn't have no chicks when I was growing up. Do you know what I mean? When I was a kid. So But I was very fortunate. I ended up going boxing. Yeah. So when I was 10 and 14, I went boxing. Very lucky to have this inspiration in my life, actually, Brendan Ingalls. What he taught you was just, it's so invaluable, you know, for future life. Looking back now, I read a book about raising boys without having boys, and it does actually say you need influences outside of your family. And obviously, growing up, that was just by chance, because obviously my mum and dad didn't know about this. And I used to go most nights to the boxing. But he taught you about self-confidence. So he'd have you in the middle of the ring singing in front of like Prince Nazim and Ryan Rhodes and all Johnny Nelson and all top boxers. And the atmosphere was absolutely incredible, you know. So I started doing the fitness then. But and then when I was 15, for some reason, I ballooned. I just started getting bigger and bigger. And like I was saying, I ended up having to have an inhaler at one time because I was that unfit. So I was still doing the cadets, and then I knew I wanted to go into the forces from the age of 10. So because obviously, so my mum could carry on claiming, you know, the benefits, I had to go to college. So I did art and design at college, just so she could get her benefits, basically. And so I went there and just did what I did, but I knew where my path was leading. I just knew. So I was 17 on the 15th of August. On the 24th, I were in. So
what year was that?
Straight. So that was 1997.
Fucking hell.
So I was straight down to Purbright.
That's like flash to bang, that, isn't it? Jesus.
So you have to go and do your 2 years, your 2 day thing, you know, where you're doing your tests and stuff.
Yeah. And
I remember doing it, and I did the BFT, the run in. I'm sure they fixed it. I don't think I did it in 10:29 because, like I say, I was still a bit weighty, and I'm sure they blagged it, you know, just to get me in.
Yeah.
And I remember there was me and this kid who had been in cadets with me. We both, for some reason, we were both on the same thing. And I remember having a cigar singing, "We're in the army now," you know, like buzzing, because that's all I wanted to do. So, and then that's it, we were in, you know. Purbright, we're just, as it is, just getting thrashed. But I think what we're doing, they started having females in with us as well, you know. I think it was that sort of transition.
Yeah.
Females doing the artillery. Obviously, Natalie Mayhew, didn't she? She was the first woman in our regiment, I think, wasn't she? Actually.
She was the first female AS-90 gunner, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I remember in training, obviously I was getting fitter as I were, and I remember doing this tab, and I said to somebody, like an idiot, is that it? Well, one of the PTI instructors, he heard me, says, "What was that, Richardson?" And he absolutely thrashed me, you know, like the score when you're getting thrashed and you can't breathe. So yeah, and I thought, you know what, this is for me. Well, in the end, I ended up getting best recruit, to be fair. So I was, but I do think because of the cadet days, I think it just really just lined me up to do the skills. I already knew how to do the sling, how to do the webbing, and so I had that advantage. So I mean, anybody that's going to go in, I'd recommend them to go into the cadets as like a little transition, just to get into it.
Well, they're doing it more and more schools are doing it, aren't they? I mean, all the schools around here where I live, like Bedlington area, they've all got the cadet force, the AFC or whatever it's called now, or CCF, I can't remember what it's called. But they've got that, so the people who have signed up for it, I'll be driving to work and I'll see all these little soldiers marching to school.
Yeah.
And the first time I seen it, I was like, what the fuck? I think they've got better kit than I had. You know, they're in full rig going to school, and they do that one day a week. And they go out and they do drill and they do cadet stuff, and I'm just like,
brilliant.
Fucking hell, they're glad they didn't do it at my school. Jesus, we'd have took over the town if we got trained. But fucking hell.
Well, because and so we went on the open day, and do you know what? There's so many kids said that they've come a long way, you know, because they're not academic. Not everybody's academic, are they? Do you know what I mean? But they said they really found a purpose, and so like you said, they go every Thursday. They're in the gear. They're doing army drills, and that's what, again, it's what they're meant to do, isn't it? You know, it's just in your blood, isn't it, if you're in it. So yeah, so that was basic training. Then you went to Larkhill, did the AS90, and then it was straight to Topcliffe. But I knew Topcliffe we were going to Germany. That's why I thought pick the third. I thought it'd be brilliant. I thought 17, 18-year-old lad, Germany with lads. I thought anyway, we got to Topcliffe. I think I was only in regiment 2 weeks. I was in front of the CO. And do you remember Bob Verity?
Yeah.
Yeah. He were leaving, so there were me, Lee Draycott, Chris, and we were all down Topcliffe, and one of them, we're all leathered, and he somehow ended up on the floor, so everybody ended up peeing on him. And obviously the civvies, the civic cameras, obviously coppers come and everything. And well, we're all in front of the CO, and I'm thinking, I wonder if it was Lee, and I got done for it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I got a month's pay deducted.
I remember that. Yeah, they brought him back, didn't they? He got out, and they brought him back and still charged him. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. So that was one of the first of many getting into trouble. And then obviously we went over to Germany, and you know what it was like over there. It was own battery bar. Well, when I went over, I always wanted to do the PTI instructing course, so I went off to Senelager, and so I was 18, and did that, and then I come back. Obviously worked in gym for a bit, and I thought, I can't get into this drinking culture, you know, like, especially not through it week, because, I mean, some of the lads like Eddie Gray and that, he were on whiskey in bloody every night, do you know what I mean? They're all getting smashed, weren't they? Because it was so cheap. And so I stuck to the training. As you know, I massively looked up to Cy Grigg, you see. Obviously, he was my number one, and I never really got on with my father.
Yeah.
Because we had a lot of we were just so different, different morals and everything. And so I think I was always searching for that father figure when I was younger. And Cy was my first. I thought he's somebody to look up to for me. Do you know? There was Cy, and obviously we mentioned Jimmy earlier before we started talking. Now Jimmy, he was true. Well, he still is now. I still mention Jim and stuff. But yeah, it was just great going over there, you know, and starting out there. But after when I was in the gym, so I used to do running in the morning, swim at dinner, weights at night, and then take PT. I was just like obsessed with fitness, you know, just loved it. And then obviously went to Bosnia. I don't know if it was first tour, and there was the route called the Beast. Do you remember in Glamorgan?
Yeah.
It was like a route, and me and Jimmy did a 50-mile run stroke tab. I don't even remember. We did it for a charity called Kiddies Last Dreams, and I've never felt pain like it. Obviously, Jimmy was like giving you the inspiration. He said, some laps you'll be suffering, I will be. And he always said, oh, that what does not kill you serves to make you stronger.
Yeah.
Well, years later, I had that tattooed on my back, and I obviously still got it. But just that set me up for life, because I realised you can do anything really, do you know?
Yeah.
And that's when I signed up to go to 2-9. Well, I did the 2 tours of Bosnia.
Yeah.
But, well, you know, when we I don't know if it was a second tour, I think, yeah. So John Newland, do you remember John?
Yes.
John Newland, yeah. So I'll tell you a story. I don't think we'll get into trouble for it no more anyway. Well, we went out on patrol with the interpreter, and anyway, come across this village, and we thought, we were a bit bored, so we said, oh, well, let's just smash some windows, you know, like just 10 points for this, 10 points for that, you know, like you do. So there were me, Keith, John, interpreter. Anyway, so he gets back to camp, and all of a sudden everybody were on parade and that, right, it's been kicking off in town, somebody's been smashing windows. Anyway, so the OPs ended up having to go out and stay out for a couple of nights and observe on this bloody town. And it were me and John and Keith. Obviously, we thought if we get, because I think John had just been promoted to Bombardier, so it was like, because we'd have got locked up for that, to be fair, I think.
Yeah, you got the shit.
And so me and John were like, fuck, you know, I'm going to get away with this anyway. We did, so luckily enough. Obviously, some OPs knew. They were like, you get us, you know, because it got cold out there, didn't it? You know, like. So, looking back, you remember all the good times. You don't remember about the stagging on and all the bullshit, do you know? So
until you remind yourself,
back, yeah. And then when we come back from Bosnia, I thought I need another challenge here. So because we had Dick Booth as our battery sergeant major at the time, which he was X-29. And I thought, do you know what? I really fancy that. So, but when, obviously, you know, when you come back from Bosnia, you're only on 2-can rule, aren't you? So you've not had a drink of beer properly. Well, some of us are on 2-can rule.
Fucking jerry cans.
Well, do you remember when, because we had some entertainment out actually I think it was on the second tour of Bosnia. Like somebody come out and like, you know, like singers and performers and stuff.
Yeah.
And so obviously we all had a few more than we should have done. And do you remember Mags McGee? Mags?
Yeah.
And me and him, he was my sergeant in the basic training in Pirbright actually. And for some reason we always clashed. We just never got on. And that one night we'd both had a few beers, and it was one of them you go outside and sort it out. Like next thing you know, he bottled me. I don't even remember.
Yes.
Yeah, bottled me, and honest to God, he shredded my face like. But looking back now, I think I was a bit of a dickhead as well. So, as in bit cocksure, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I probably brought it on myself a little bit as well. So I don't. Do you know what I mean? You like you do. So that was that, and then we come back, and I thought, do you know what? I need a challenge here. I'd done that 50 miler with Jimmy, and I thought I'm going to sign up for 2-9. So Dick Booth says, as long as you don't get into any bother, he says, I'll let you go. So I thought, right, no more drinking for me, because you know what it's like, alcohol and mix don't mix, does it?
No.
So I remember sat in bar in Micmacs, and Michael Coxon, I just sat there because I was seeing a girl at the bar at the time, and Coxon just threw a punch at somebody. Next thing you know, it was just like it was like a cowboy film. There were chairs getting flown, and then RMPs coming. Anyway, that Monday morning, Dick Booth got me in office. He says, Richie, if I find out you were in any bother on that night, he says, you're not going nowhere. I says, I didn't do anything like so. So luckily enough, I got shipped off to 2-9 in down at Plymouth. So I turned up in Plymouth, and I'd
gone to Lark Hill by then, so I didn't realise this.
Yeah. So I went to Plymouth to 2-9, and I thought, obviously, I was so nervous because I thought everybody's going to be like superhuman, like bloody. Like I thought everybody would be like Jimmy. Do you know what I mean? Everybody's going to be superhuman with fitness. And I like went on my first battery run, and I thought, oh, actually, I'm up there with like the top 5-10 here, you know. So and then I did the course, got the green beret, And so that's just here on the statue actually on bike. So that was a great moment for me. That, to be fair.
How did you find the course? I mean, I know guys who've done it, and I've never really spoke to them about what it was like. You know, the 30-miler and the bottom field and stuff like that. So what was it like?
Everybody had the little. It were almost like a bit of a nemesis, you know, where yeah. So one bit like say Tarzan assault course, there were just certain few obstacles where they were just a bit out of your comfort, not out of comfort zone, but how to do it. Do you know what I mean? But to be honest with you, excuse me, because I've done the 50-miler mentally, I knew for the 30-miler, I knew for a fact I'd done that and more, you know, so I was more than, because I were already quite tuned in with the fitness, I found it all right, the fitness. I think the hardest bit was the mental side of it, as in, you just got thrashed. It was just a thrashing from day to day to day. And it was cold, because it was in November, so obviously going on the stag, the clothes it got ice on. Obviously, I had to do wet and dry drills. So I remember getting my clothes out of the Bergen to get me wet gear back on, and literally like cardboard. And what they were clever in doing when you're on camp, you're always a village in distance. You could see the lights, you know. And I'm sure they did it just to say, oh, they're all warm and cozy there. And I think it was there to get people to rap, basically.
Yeah.
It were all mind games, as you know, through the army career, and that's what it is. And I think when you realise that, I think it's a lot easier.
Yeah, so when you had a positive mental attitude throughout the course.
Yeah.
So no, that's brilliant.
Yeah. But I loved it. I loved it. And then we went straight out to Ireland then.
Right.
So we went I forgot where we went to do the island training. I come back to Germany actually for a very short time to do the course. That was nice to see all lads, really, you know, like after doing the course and things. Obviously went out on the piss and that usual.
Yeah.
And then I went back, did the island training. So we were straight out to Ireland then. Obviously, Ireland then, it were more, we were handing over to the PSNI, really. You know, like, obviously going out on patrol. There was still obviously a threat. A few, like, petrol bombings and bits and bobs up on the towers and stuff, but nothing too tasty, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, at the time, my missus, I was seeing Gemma from quite some time, Bosnia, and so I'd known her since we were 18, basically. And she said, if it one of them, you either get out or we're over, basically. Yeah. And being a young lad, like an idiot, I followed my heart and not my head, do you know what I mean? Because I still had a bit more to give, do you know what I'm saying? And I obviously come out. Well, while we were in Ireland, I was saving up because we were going to go travelling. So we went travelling. So I saved up, and then, like it was on about, so I literally got back, did a resettlement course, and then they said, "All right, that's it. It's time to go." Like, so a year's notice, as you know.
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, handing that ID badge in and your uniform, I started feeling a bit like a loser, and I thought, what the frig am I going to do now? Do you know? I thought, even though I'm going travelling, I thought, what have I got? What am I now? Because obviously you're in charge of men, you're in charge of weapons, you're in charge, second in command of the AS-90s, you know, like all this stuff. From being a young lad to, you walk out of that gate and you've got nothing. Everything's done for you. And it's like, it's a big panic. Your heart's racing. I couldn't believe it. Like you said earlier, it's just a sick feeling, because that's all I ever wanted to do from about 10. And obviously I come out to be with the love of my life at the time, as I thought. So I come out, and then I come out in, was it September? September, what was it now? Yeah, 2002. And then the second Gulf kicked off, which I was gutted because that's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to see what I could do doing the business, doing what I'd trained for all them years since I was 13. And it was one of them, Gemma said, if you go, we're done. And I'm like, I was just torn, you know. But looking back now, I think maybe I won't be here now, you know. Like, so I not saying I'm religious now, but I'm a bit more spiritual in how things of your path you take, you know. Yeah. But I think that comes with age, that, to be fair.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You look back and you think, if I'd done this differently, done that, what happens if I'd have done that? And whether it's fate or what have you, you know, none of us would be where we are now if we hadn't have took them. You know, it's what a stupid thing to say. Of course it is. We'd all be where we are now because of the decisions we made before. So, I mean, some people have made, fucking hell, I've made some drastically bad decisions in my life. Like, really bad. But you get over it. You move on. You know, and like you're saying, when you leave the army, as we were talking about earlier, you just, it's like, fucking hell, that chapter in my life's over. Did I waste it? You know, because it is over in an instant. There's no like, there's the card, the ID card, and it's, right,
yeah, you still not got your toe dipped in, have you? It's literally done.
Yeah.
You're done.
Yeah, you're not sliding into water slowly, you're getting pushed in.
Yeah. I mean, the travelling out, to be fair, we did like Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore, Fiji, Hawaii, San Fran, Vegas.
Nice.
We did 8 months altogether. Do you know? Obviously, we got a working visa for Australia, so we were doing we bought a camper van in Sydney, and then drove up the East Coast, did a bit of banana picking, and then sell the van in Cairns. Met some fantastic friends along the way, you know. Grew my hair a bit longer, highlights in hair, you know, like a bit hippified, and thought I would the daddy didgeridoo, you know, like do you know what I mean? It was great. Some of the places we visited. Then we did the West Coast, did a tour, and then we did New Zealand. We hired a camper van there, did North and South. Slept on the streets basically in the van, because the views, and it was just amazing, you know. But it was me who was keeping the van tidy, and I still because we went with the rucksack, everything were individually wrapped, waterproof. In fact, I even made Gemma buy a canoe bag because I said, listen, when we're on boats and that, I said, I guarantee. And obviously, when we went to Thailand, we were in the water, you know, because they don't always go out right into shore, so we had to jump in. I said, there you go. But I still wrapped everything individually, the socks, everything. I know what. Literally, I could have closed my eyes and gone into there and got, you know what I'm saying? But it was me who were tying the bows in the camper van because I was obsessed. So, like Gemma, she'd literally leave a hair grip on the side and be like, what the fuck is that doing out? Either put it away or it goes in the bin. Do you know what I mean? And I was a nightmare. But I'll tell you later, she didn't stay with me for long later on in life because I think I was a bit of a nightmare to live with, to be fair. But so we went travelling, went to Fiji. That was a lovely country. And what you can do, you can actually go and stay with a Fijian family.
Yeah.
So we thought, we'll give that a shot. Anyway, bear in mind, nobody knew where we were. We're in the middle of jungle with these Fijians. So they still have the chief of the village and everything. So you take a route of a plant called carver, and they obviously do what they do with it, like crush it up and sieve it through almost like a sack. And the blokes literally, they must work for about an hour and then that's it. They literally get on this stuff called carver. Women are doing the cooking and the bits and bobs. So we'd all be sat round, head lower than chief, drinking this out of a coconut shell, saying bulla. And it was like being stoned and pissed at the same time. You couldn't move your muscles, honestly, it was weird. And anyway, we get there one of the first days. They said, "Oh, we're going to go and have a bath down at river." So there were me, 4 blokes, and luckily enough, one of the guys, his father had worked for embassy, so he could speak English. So he were doing our translating, really. So I'm thinking, this is weird. They all had towels round them. I got clothed off, towel wrapped round me and me beret. Gemma come out, and I'm thinking, this is not right, this. It's going to be like 4 or 5 blokes naked, and then my missus, like, I thought, I'll just go along with it. So I went down to the river. There were a cow drinking in the river, as like you'd see. Anyway, they all took the towels off. They all had shorts on, didn't they? Because obviously I got stripped off Monaco, and I'm thinking, so I'm just bathing in river then, you know, thinking, I thought, it's cold enough without me getting my tackle out, you know what I mean? So, but it was all these different experiences, like when spearfishing with the locals, and it was just brilliant, you know what I mean? And I think it really relaxed me.
Yeah.
Obviously the intensity on you had to be there at a certain time, and there were no concept of time really when you were travelling, unless you had to go and get a plane, obviously. But majority of the times it was your time. You could do what you want when you wanted. And I think that helped transition me into Civic Street a little bit. So when we got back, I thought I was going to join the fire service, because while I was in Ireland, I was filling all the forms out and stuff. One of the lads, he helped me fill the form out because he was switched on like with his wording and stuff. And sadly, he passed away. Actually, he ended up doing security. And he got killed out there, like, so. Yeah. He were in the Marines, because we worked with 4-2 in Ireland, 4-2 Commando. So he passed away, sadly. But yeah, so when I come out, I thought I'll join the fire service. But when I looked into it, the money was absolutely pants. You know, really. Everybody in the fire service had a second job, basically.
Right.
They had another trade, so they'd obviously do, say, 3 days on, whatever, and then they'd do 2 days off. But majority of them would work to top the wages up. And I thought, I don't want to be doing that, you know. So John Newland was already out by then. He lives at Doncaster, so not far from me. And I would talk to John, like, and I said, he was tiling at the time, wall and floor tiling. And he says, "Oh, what have you thought about tiling?" I thought, you know what, mate? I said, "I am." And it sounds a bit weird, but obviously we're doing a bit of art at college, remember, so my mum could get a benefit. It's a bit arty, and I thought, do you know what? I reckon I could do this. And obviously having that perfection, being like you are, with forces, everything's got to be perfect. Well, as near as damn as perfect. I thought, yeah, I'll have a go at this. So I went with John, and I thought, I like this. And I thought, I want to do my MVQ, so, because me and Gemma at the time were thinking about emigrating to Australia, which didn't come about because she didn't want to leave her mum. So, but anyway, I did the MVQ, went to college, and going back to college at that age, it was hard work because obviously you had your numpties that were sat at back, you know, like being a dickhead, you know, like kids do. You're at the front trying to make like you need to do this because you need to survive and make money. So that was hard work, but for 2 years I did that. But also I ended up working for a company then doing tiling, and they used to just send me on jobs, and I'm like, I don't have a clue. So I'd be phoning John up saying, "John, I've got this issue," because I don't think YouTube were about them back then. So I said, "John, I've got this issue." He said, "Oh, I'll do this, do that." And I thought, I might as well set up on myself here. So I thought, sod it. I set up on my own business within about a year. And so we're getting all these different contacts. So somebody would say, "Oh, can you do this?" And I remember this bloke saying, "No, it takes you a long time to do this," doesn't it? I says, "Well," I was thinking, yeah, because I ain't got a clue what I'm doing, basically. But like you do, bluff it. You just bluff it, don't you? Like the forces. I gave him some bullshit story anyway, saying, I like to do it right and all this, which I did. But anyway, so I did that. And then I was just doing tiling. And by that time, me and Gemma we ended up having a son, Carter. When was that? 2009. Bought his first house and usual. And like I said, with Carter, when he was little, I used to come home basically, and they were like, I weren't too interested in the baby or Gemma. It was I had to pair the shoes up, and what was out, what was out of place. That was more important to me than anything else.
Yeah, it sounds more like OCD, that though, mate.
Oh yeah, well, I thought because it got a bit too bad, and I thought I need to get a little bit of help with this.
Oh, right. Okay.
So I went and seen somebody about it, and they were called perfectionism. And what it is, it was like, they said, oh yeah, because like the OCD is almost like you could be in harm. So say if you don't turn the light off,
yeah,
you're frightened about the electricity or the gas, for instance, checking the gas. So it helped me understand a little bit about why I was like that. But what I tried doing is keeping it separate from home life. But like my little boy, he couldn't have more than 2 toys out. It was like if you're not playing with them, they go away. It was I were a bit too regimental still, without me realising it. But and then obviously we got married, me and Gemma, and then we ended up having another little boy, Leo. He's a character, but we didn't last that long after then. So we split, me and Gemma, and I ended up back at my mum's, back on the council estate where I first started.
Wow.
And I'll be honest with you, mate.
I was going to say, I bet that was quite rough, doing that.
It was tough. It was, well, I remember going, I thought, I can't believe I'm back at this shithole. I can't believe it. I thought I've lost everything, I was gutted. I had no house, no car, you know what I mean? I lost everything, my kids. And I know it sounds a bit cheesy, but I got my green beret and I put it on cupboard and I said, Leon, well, you got away from here once, you're going to do it again. Anyway, I thought I need something else, so I went to a few different gyms where I wouldn't normally go because I know what I was doing anyway with training. I thought, you know what? Like you said, I needed something other than being sat at my mum's moping about because my brain was just on overload, basically. So I thought, right, one of my other mates, he said, I'll go to this gym. I said, it's called, where they're training for like tough mudders and stuff like that. So they were a bit of an obstacle course and bits and bobs. And I thought, anyway, I went. I didn't really talk to too many people because I thought I'm paying for my training. I want to get the most out of it, basically. And I just cracked on this. And anyway, I went a few times and I saw this lass and I thought, oh, she's all right. Like, obviously I was single at the time, tried a bit of the old Tinder and stuff. And I thought, oh, she's lovely. Anyway, got chatting to somebody about her. And I'm with Sally now, actually, after nearly 10 years. And Sally sadly lost her husband to, I think, it's a charity called CRY, Cardiac Risk in the Young.
Yeah.
And it's where they've got a hypertrophy heart. So Sally had just had a little baby with Lee. I think they were a couple of years on by then when he passed. So Ollie was only 8 weeks old at the time, bless him. So Sally was in a bit of a tough place. And so it was one of them where I messaged her on Messenger. And, well, obviously I didn't realise my spelling was absolutely atrocious. So I put, I was wondering if you would care, and then I realised she was a teacher. So she didn't correct me spelling at that point, but later down the line she said, I hope you don't mind me saying, but this is how you spell wondering. Do you know what I mean? But so yeah, I mean, I was so lucky to meet her because she's obviously she was going through that. I was going through my breakup, and I just felt like it was fate, just meeting, at that time in his life. And then we ended up, obviously, slowly, gradually, we moved in together. My boys were coming here, and it was just, it all worked, you know what I mean? It's fantastic. I mean, like I said, we've been together 10 years now. Well, with the ex, I'd had the snip, because I thought, well, I don't want no more kids. We got two. And then about 2 weeks later, she said, I don't want to be wheelie on. I'm thinking, what's all this about? So I've just had the snip, and I'm thinking, oh, it's all right, because I don't really want any more kids. But obviously, when I met Sally, she was like, well, I told her this, and her jaw literally dropped, because obviously I was still young at the time. And she said, I can't believe you had that. And I said, well, I didn't want any more children. Anyway, so I ended up having a reversal. It was something like 1 in 100 chance I ended up getting an infection in one of my testicles. Let's just say it must have gone about that big, Frankie, honestly. that actually hurt more than the procedure. Anyway, luckily enough, I kept my left testicle. And so we started trying for a baby. And 7 years down the line, we've just had, well, November last year, we've just had a little girl.
Oh, congratulations.
So that was unbelievable. So she's definitely a miracle. Absolutely a miracle. She really is, bless her. So, yeah, and then, so when I was at my mum's, obviously I was in that dark place, and I'm thinking, I need to do something else in my life, business-wise. So I set up a commercial tiling company. So I had about 15 lads working for me, doing the tiling. It were almost like there were different grades of tilers. So one for like a council house bashing stuff. You had your top at range, we were working in big property like £1 million houses, really wet rooms, this sort of thing. And it was so tough going. And I also did a company called Richardson Renovations, where we do a bit of everything. That's obviously still now going.
Yeah.
With the tiling, a company went bust on me and took me for a very large sum of money.
Yeah.
And it's a dog-eat-dog world, that commercial world. It really is.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't realise how bad it was until I got out. I mean, I work for someone else, but I've seen where we've lost customers, or customers have folded, have gone bankrupt themselves, and just left us with the debt, and you're never going to get it back. It's shit.
No, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, I even took my brother down, because he's a right lumpy brother, and I thought, we went to office, and I said, we've got nothing. And I was like, because I thought, at least if we go down, I might even gain a bit of something. But it just weren't what I realised were, because I thought I'll get them back, like your brain's ticking. I thought, you know what, Leon? Why waste? There's no point wasting my energy on this. Let's just try and move forward. Just draw a line. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was hard. It was really tough. Because that same year, I sadly lost my sister as well. That was due to mental illness. So when we're on about mental illness, I didn't realise what it were like until I lost my sister.
Yeah.
And I didn't realise, to be honest with you, she had it for all a childhood. So when I come home on leave, being a dick, like saying, "Oh, why is this out?" She was suffering with other stuff, which my mum kept it from me, because obviously we'd been in Bosnia and stuff. She didn't want to put that on me as an added weight. Do you know what I mean? And doing what I was doing. So, like I say, I lost her at that time as well, which was really difficult, because she left her daughter behind and stuff, and it does make you realise that about life after. I mean, it shouldn't take losing somebody, but it does,
Yeah, it does. I mean, life flies by you, and you don't appreciate the difficulties that other people have got until sometimes it's too late, and then you don't know. I mean, like I've said to other people in different podcasts and stuff like that, we've lost friends you know, either in the army or wherever. But the worst ones for me, well, I'll say the worst ones, they're all bad, are the ones who we've lost afterwards due to mental illness and stuff like that. And sometimes you just don't know someone's suffering. You know, there's not always a telltale sign, or someone hasn't told you or anything like that. And then when you do find out, sometimes it's too late. You get the you know, you get that survivor's guilt sometimes and stuff like that. But you know, life is shit sometimes.
I think what it were, Frankie, because she'd had a team from a very early age, so she knew what to say to her. You know, like counselling people. Yeah. So because she was very intelligent. In fact, she was younger than me, and she taught me the bloody alphabet. Do you know what I'm saying? So bless her, but she just didn't want to be here. She just had enough, bless her. She really had enough, and it's hard to get your head around that. But I see that how I've coped with it is she's not suffering now. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I know it sounds weird, but yeah. So at least she's not suffering. And also, my mum was always on edge, thinking, "Is this going to be the call?" And because she tried it a lot of times. She self-harmed and stuff and things like that. So, which is a shame, really. So, yeah, it's tough going. But like you said, you never know what's happening behind them eyes, do you? And I think that's why, as you get older, you should treat people a bit nicer. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think we should treat everyone a bit nicer. Some people I still want to fill in now and again, but you've got.
Oh, yeah, but
you just don't do it. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, you haven't got the army to back you up and say, no. Get away with that one.
No.
But, so obviously me and Sally just had another little baby, so that is fantastic, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, now I'm a bit older, I'm a lot more relaxed, and I'm actually enjoying this, you know, it's just magical, you know. There's no more like coming in pairing the shoes up anyway, Frankie, do you know what I mean?
No, it sounds like you've relaxed into life then.
Yeah, it only took a lot of years, but
sometimes it does.
I'm still like that at work, as in everything because like we do a lot of bespoke bathroom and wet rooms. Everything lines up, everything's you know, like we've got I've got a great set of lads, you know, that work for me, really good.
So one thing I've got to ask you while we're here is, how did fucking this male modelling stuff come around? Because I clock you on Facebook with your pictures and that, and you're such a tart.
Oh dear, I didn't know you were going to bring that up.
Fucking right, there was no way I wasn't going to bring that up. You stood in your boxes on Facebook, you know what I mean? Hey.
Well, when I was travelling...
All I can say about you stood in your boxes, it looks like you've kept the swelling and got rid of the pain.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always a bit cold in my house, Frankie. Well, when I was travelling with Gemma in San Francisco, I got approached by an agent at the time. I were eating an apple at the time. He says, "Oh, have you ever thought about modelling?" And I said, to be honest with you, no. Because I was chewing on my apple. And to be honest with you, because I was still I was a lot militarified and a bit serious, very serious at the time. I thought, that's not for me, you know, at this stage in the game. Anyway, so I was doing a job at a customer's house, a kid called Richard Kite. Well, he's a male model. And he said, "Have you thought about modelling, Leon?" I said, to be fair, I have been asked to see if I'd do it before. And I thought, anyway, he said, "Give these guys a ring, two gay guys called Lewis and Gary. Tell you what." Anyway, they said, "Go down, have a photo shoot." He said, "Yeah, come down." I'll tell you what, mate, I had a great laugh. Absolutely, it was a scream. They were flirty as anything. If anything, they were filth, you know what I mean? Pure filth. Anyway, so I got a portfolio together, and then I sent them to these agencies. Obviously, I'm a bit blind to all this, and I thought, this is a bit weird, you know, and I thought, a bit out of my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I sent them off, and anyway, these agencies took me on. So what these agencies do, so say if they've got a job, they'll say you're free on this date to do this. It might be down London, so I've done all sorts of modelling stuff. It's from working with IKEA, Nestle. I do a lot of country wear and all sorts of. But because obviously I do the Richardson renovations, so it's like having a day off. I turn up on set. Honest to God, I have to be a builder to a model in a day. So like I'm driving down to these jobs because my hands are rough as frig, you know.
Yeah.
Cream in my hand, you know, cream all in my hands. And I'm thinking, I thought I'm going to do this. But yeah, it's great. The people, everybody's, because it's almost a bit hippified, you know.
Yeah.
Everybody's so friendly. Everybody wants the outcome. And we do a bit of family stuff as well, you know. So Ollie, the little boy, Sally's little boy, well, I'm adopting Ollie.
Yeah.
So Ollie, Sally and myself, we do it as a family as well. So sometimes we're going, like we did one 2 weeks ago for this Italian restaurant. So we got fed for the night, and literally, we're just literally just eating, and we're getting photographed, and that's it. We get paid. But to be fair, I do it for free, me, Frankie, because it's honest. It's just when I'm doing it, I feel so relaxed. It's almost like, you know, that moment where you go.
It's an escape. Yeah.
Honestly, I just think, I can't believe I'm doing this. I turn up sometimes, I'm getting hair and makeup. I mean, I don't even know. Honest to God. Well, you know what I was like in Germany. I was ponting around in vest, fantastic. I think I was most tan guy in December. Do you know what I mean, in Germany? But it's just so funny, honest. It's just great, honest. I absolutely love it, and the people are just great. You know, really, really welcoming all the time. But have you ever watched? There's a shopping channel on. I don't know if it's still on now. But is it Ideal World or something?
I have no idea. I don't watch TV
anymore. It's on at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. You know, where they're selling literally anything.
Yeah.
Anyway. There were this one time, it was for this company, the agent says, oh yeah, can you be such and such? It's for Ideal World, they're going to supply all the clothing. Because a lot of times you have to take your own clothes, you know, to do these shoots.
All right, okay.
Anyway, yeah, believe it or not, because it's about like, you know, like realistically. So like I said, we did, I'll finish this story. Yeah. So it turns up, bear in mind, we were in the woods. I was in a leather jacket, t-shirt. In fact, the advert's still on YouTube. I'll send it you. You'll have to have a laugh. You know, they bring this boombox out. So I'm thinking, what the bloody hell's this? Music. And I'm thinking, nobody said anything about dancing. Bear in mind, there's a crew, so there's about other 10 people, and then couple of girls models, so they were Natasha, this other lass, and Emma. So there were another 3 models, and me, bloke, only bloke. I'm thinking, anyway, this young lass gets up, she looked great dancing. And I'm thinking, by this time, my heart was going, boom. Bear in mind, sober as a judge, I'm thinking, no, please not me. Anyway, Natasha got up, she had high heels on, trying to dance in bloody woods. I'm thinking, I'm going to have to dance on her. And I thought, right, Leon, you either give it all you've got and look a twat, or just not do it and look a twat. So I thought, sod it, I'm going for it. So I'll send it you. It's cheesy as hell. There were a bit of pointing going off and smiling and wink, you know, like it's pure cheese, honest to God.
Oh, God.
You'll have a giggle. But it's just from one thing. And then other times, last January, I went up to Scotland for 5 days. All expenses paid. Like Michelin star food, and it's just all paid for. The photographer were from Miami. His helper were from Ireland. And the company were from Germany, actually. And it was for the hotel. so we had a new spa, so we were having photos done in the spa and using the gym and eating in the restaurant. And I'm thinking, is this real? Do you know? Is this? Because I've been doing it. It's coming up to 4 years now, and I still think, bloody, I can't believe I'm getting paid for this. It's just great, mate. Honestly, it's a total different ball game to what I'm like. Ripping bathrooms out, and that's graft, you know.
Yeah.
And when I turn up and they'll say, "Do you mind putting these other pair of jeans on?" I'm like, "I'm sorry, you've got to get changed again." I'm like, "Are you serious?" I'm thinking, this has not worked. Do you know what I mean? This has not worked. And because obviously some young kids, that's all they've ever done. So when they turn up on set, they're like a bit poncy, you know, like, oh, because I like helping cameramen set up and, oh, I'll get you that art card, you know, like, so you're getting involved. So I do stuff for Stanley Tools as well, you know, Stanley Tools,
Yeah.
obviously, Stanley. So when I go and do work for them, I'll help set the sets up and stuff, so it's, you know, so it all looks right in proportion with the camera. And so yeah, so there's a few things coming out actually with that one with Stanley. So
you're not asking for freebies for work then?
Oh yeah, I get all sorts clothes wise. Yeah,
I mean, Stanley Tools will like, I can have them. You don't need to take them back. I'll borrow them. They'll be fucking great for work there.
You can't beat a freebie.
No.
But no, I feel lucky with that, mate. It's just like I say, the cash is great, but I would literally do that for free anyway. I love doing it. It's like I say, it's a day off. It's a day. It's not.
Like I said earlier, it's an escape from what you're doing, isn't it? So
yeah, it really
relaxing
is.
That.
Yeah. Oh. So yeah.
I'm glad. I'm. You know what? When I first seen you, like that on Facebook, I thought, what the fuck's going on? You know what I mean? I thought, Poncy twat, what's he doing on there? What's he doing that for? Well, I know you've mentioned, I know you've like explained it that way. You're like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. You know, in Christ, yeah. I'm never going to get away with it. Not unless they want like fucking a model that looks like that'll scare kids or something like that. You know, yeah, fucking hell.
But no, like I said, when we do it with family, it is literally a day out. I mean, we've been to bloody. In fact, we did a job near Thirst, you know, Topcliffe. Yeah. And that was for a holiday cottage company. So we spent the night there. We had the hot tub and we had some shots, you know, like photographs. We've got a fake daughter as well because Izzy does all sorts. She's a dancer as well, so I think she's 12, Izzy. So she comes along and, but yeah, it worked because Sally used to dance with her mum, you see. So yeah, so she comes and visits fake daughter for the day. It's great. But, yeah, I feel very lucky, Frankie, on what I've done. And all right, you go through a lot of stuff in your life, but I think it, like you said earlier, it just leads you to certain ways. And I'm very half-full, me, with everything. I ask myself two questions. Can I do anything about it? Yes or no. If I can't, I don't worry about it. If I can, I'll do it. And I love people. I have a laugh. Even if I go to the shop, I'll have a laugh with somebody. My little boy will go, "Do you know them?" I said, "No, not really." But they'll say, "How come you're talking to them for about 20 minutes?" I said, "Because it's about giving people time of day, you know. I think we always can be in a rush to be somewhere else."
Yeah, I mean, most people are, yeah.
Step back and just appreciate somebody, you know.
It's like, I mean, like modern society and that, we don't talk. We don't, you know, you just bimmer along, head down. And you very rarely stop and give other people the time of day. And everyone's guilty of it, you know. And sometimes when people do stop and talk to you, you're like, whoa, what's going on here? And you don't know what to say. You know, stood in a pub, it's different. You know, I mean, I like to talk to people. You know, sometimes I'll go out to see customers. I mean, or when they ring us up on the phone asking, you know, for help with the IT equipment and stuff like that. And, you know, and you have a bit of, you know, sometimes you have a chat on the phone for like 20 minutes before you even get around to saying, "Oh yeah, well, what did you ring us for?" You know, you have that bit of banter with people and stuff, and you build a rapport and you build, you know, trust as well. You know, but
I think I think it's good for business as well. Obviously, if you talk to somebody, you get that trust in them, you're more likely to work with somebody, aren't you? Do
Yeah.
you know what I mean? What line of work have you got into, Frank?
I work in IT, so I work for a service provider. So we just look after other companies and stuff like that. Provide servers, look after all their IT equipment, give them broadband and phones and stuff like that. It was just it's the only thing I know. That's the only thing I was ever going to do leaving the army. So
Yeah.
But I've enjoyed it. I've been in the same company for like 11 years, and I'm enjoying it. I've ended up being the senior tech there, and I still haven't got a clue what I'm doing. So that's good.
Bluffing your way through life still, like we all are.
Yeah, exactly that. And if you don't know how to do it, you Google it. So there you go.
Yeah, definitely. That YouTube's got me out of some serious shit.
Yeah. My daughter's boyfriend was a roofer for a bit. And then, again, no qualifications or anything like that. And they'd stick him on a roof and say, right, go on, do tiling. And he'd be like, well, I don't know what to do. And the guy would like leave him up there and just say, just have a look on YouTube. And he's like, all right. So he'd be stood on a roof going, how do I put lead on this? And do it like they said, and get a big tick in the box in, Oh, that's perfect. It's like, oh, fuck for YouTube.
No, serious. I watch it quite on a lot of occasions if I don't know something.
Yeah.
Because that's the way I learn, you see. I've got a manual. Give me a manual, like it might as well be in Chinese. If you give me a video to watch, I'm all right, Different ways of learning, isn't there, you think?
Well, I think it's just the way we're going now as well. I mean, even now, if I'm trying to do something at work, I'd rather look up somebody who's done a YouTube video of it and stuff like that. Because you get to see it as well. Sometimes reading something, you don't understand where you have to do this or where you do that, because sometimes you don't know the terminology or anything like that. So you look on a YouTube thing and, it's like that. No, okay, fuck it, I knew that anyway. You do it type of thing. But no. Well, I think we've come to the end of this one then. It's been great talking to you. And it does sound as though it looks like you've just settled into life as you've got a bit older and more handsome. Fucking male model. What's going on there? Is that when I messaged you to do this? I just said, you haven't aged a bit. I can't believe it.
I'll be honest with you. To be honest with you, Frankie, I've still got a burger and I've still got it packed with £55, mate. I still go on hills and stuff. I did fan dance a couple of years ago, and I do a bit of triathlon and stuff. I still look fitness, me, mate. And the reason why I do it is not for muscles these days. It's more for that.
Yeah.
It keeps my brain. It keeps the chemicals sweet.
Yeah.
Because if I didn't train, mate, I'd probably be a total different kid.
Yeah.
I know I would. Because when I don't do it, I can feel myself just slipping a bit,
Yeah. No, and it's again, I mean, going back to the mental health side and stuff like that. I mean, I remember there used to be a talk show on called Trisha. Don't know if you ever remember that, years back.
No. Oh yeah,
Trisha, yeah. And she went through a mental breakdown, and then she was back on a show afterwards. And at the time, we had like family members who were going through it, type of thing, quite badly, and they'd stuck them on some horrible tablets and that. And I just remember watching this episode of it, and she basically turned around and said, the best therapy or the best medicine I've ever had was going for a walk. And then spoke to the family member about it, and they joined the gym. And I'm not saying it sorted them out overnight, but it really did help. And it was, it was all the endorphins and stuff like that in the brain, getting different chemicals balances and stuff like that, and really, really helped. I mean, Christ, I'd be fucked, wouldn't I? The only gym I know is bloody Jim Morrison.
but do you know what though, Frankie? Have you? I do a bit of cold therapy as well, like cold tubbing and stuff.
Yeah.
I've got a cold tub I built on the front, so that's another story. When on a Saturday morning, post guys coming down, I'm in my speedos in cold tub. But I'll be honest with you, that and a bit of meditation. To be fair, I do a Wim Hof breathing and stuff. Have you ever heard of Wim Hof?
No.
I'll send you it. You might have a go and see what you think. But it's this breathing exercise, so it's like circular breathing. And I'll be honest with you, if you would have said to me 20 years ago about meditation and all this, I'd have gone, there's no way I'm doing this, but I'll always have a go at something now. If I think, oh, I'll have a go at it. I'll not start judging it yet. I'll have a go, but that cold therapy, that is on another level. Really is. You know, especially you get into like a meditation state. So it's weird, honest. It's weird. It's almost like the birds are flying slower and stuff. Honestly, it's hard to explain. I know it sounds weird, and don't get me wrong. Getting in it is never easy, never ever. But once you get in it and you're like in that state, it's fantastic, mate. Honest. I'll send you some stuff on Wim Hof. I think you might just give it a shot.
Yeah, I don't think the neighbours are too happy. I've got little walls in our backyard. I don't think they'd be too happy seeing my frame knocking round in a pair of Speedos. I'd probably get arrested.
Do the cold showers. You know the cold showers.
Oh, I do anyway because I'm too tight to put the heating on.
But yeah, I'll send you through, mate, and see what you think. I'll send you that, and I'll top it off, and I'll send you that video of me dancing in woods.
I'll tell you, if you do send that, I might use a clip of that to publicise this, if you don't mind. Well, if you don't mind, I'll find it and do it anyway. So fuck you.
Listen, if it makes somebody smile, I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Right, I'm going to stop the recording now, mate. It's been an hour, and it's been great. Well, that was Leon's story. I hope you enjoyed that one. I did. It's been years since I've seen him, and when I found out about his male modelling, it just made me giggle, and I was so chuffed that he came on here, discussed his life. Well, look forward to the next one, which will be Sean Connolly, who's an author and radio presenter, also health and safety, ex-40 field. He'll be here to tell me all about how he wrote his books, about his career, and life in general. Bye-bye now.